Hey, good morning from snowy Canada. My name's Shauna. I had a thought this morning about mercy. There was a story in the Bible where they caught a woman in adultery and everybody pulled her out into the street to stone her to death. And Jesus said, "You who are without fault or blame or whatever, cast the first stone." And from the oldest to the youngest, people walked away. And Jesus's mercy is the justice of God. We learn justice from when we were little kids. Eye for an eye, weight for weight, this much, that much. And we think it's wrong to show mercy. It's like there's an injustice there when someone's in court and the judge shows leniency. And they asked Jesus in another part in the Bible, like, how many times are you supposed to forgive? 77 times 7. So I did the math and it was 539. I thought, okay, so 540 crossed the line. That's a religious way of thinking, right? Instead of a heart and a spiritual way of thinking. If you've been shown mercy and you understand it, I don't think you're going to be able to manipulate God. But at the same time, if you really are ignorant, 539 times, there's that much love and mercy and grace available to cover us. And that is the love of God is so vast. The mercy of God, the amazing grace of God. The patience, love is patient, love is kind, right? God is love. And so, I don't know, I was just thinking about that today, how merciful God is. The justice of God is so merciful. It's 77 times 7. He could have just said 70 times 7, but he said 77 times 7. Complete, and complete. The number 7 is completion, a week, right? 7 days. So I was just thinking that is pretty amazing how God has that much mercy for us. And then if you think about the guy who was forgiven by the king, and then he went out and he didn't forgive the guy who owed him. And when the king found out about that, so when you're shown mercy and you've had it extended to you and then you don't go ahead and adopt that same policy, then you get in trouble with God too. When you've tasted and seen that God's good and you don't go and walk in that goodness, that very same goodness. So I just been thinking about the mercy of God, the forgiveness of God, the grace of God. And you think about in times of war, the only thing that restores peace and relationship is forgiveness. And Ukraine and Russia, the world at large has to forgive the wickedness to restore peace, because there's been terrible many people dead already, and the only way to stop the killing is mercy. 539 times. And Jesus is the Prince of Peace. It's because he's the Prince of Mercy. He came to the earth to show us the mercy and the justice of God, and to bring us into that love and that mercy and that justice. It says, by the same measure that you use forgiveness, it will be measured to you. So we have to learn to walk, not in bitterness, not in vengeance, but to walk in mercy and love like Jesus. And that's what following Jesus is. I've even seen Christian television broadcasters that are around for ages still thinking it's okay to take vengeance. It's not. Vengeance is God's. There's still tons of Christians that are very mature in their faith that still don't understand the concept of mercy. And that Jesus, that's exactly what we're supposed to be as Christians, is a bunch of merciful people that don't take vengeance. We don't pick up our stones and throw them. We walk in mercy. Bless you guys. I hope you can apply this wisdom and this truth to your life and think about it and bring peace to your world through mercy instead of vengeance and retaliation. It's the only way we can change the world. It's the only way wars can stop. Israel and Hamas, Ukraine and Russia, the threats between America and China or whatever, whoever, your spouse, your children, your relationships with your siblings or your friends. You can't have room in your heart for bitterness. You have to let it go. You have to have mercy. You can't take the vengeance. And that laying down of your power or withholding that free will of yours to hit back right away is mercy and love. And that is when we get treasure in heaven. Jesus says you don't get credit in heaven for loving people that love you. You get credit in heaven when you love your enemy, the guy that's wronged you. Then when you love him, the guy that wronged you, that's when you get credit. So don't just love people that love you nicely back. You only get credit actually in heaven when you love people who wrong you. I think that's, I don't even know if I've ever heard that preached in a church. And I've been going to church my whole life. But anyway, I pray that you guys would know the mercy of God and know the mercy of God so that you know that you're forgiven, your sins are forgiven. And it's a mercy that's 77 times 7. It's amazing love. God is there extending. He's like, learn the lesson. How many times do you have to learn to spell a word and learn the lesson of how to spell the word correctly? God's giving you 77 times 7 to get out of your ignorance in this life and learn love before you die. And we're not promised tomorrow, none of us. So we just have to be obedient to God in our day and try and extend love and mercy. Love you guys.